The 2025 Nissan Versa, probably the most important vehicle on sale today, and we have two new updates for this latest model year. So let's get started. The Versa S and the SV trim levels now get LED headlights and LED signature lighting elements. Also for 2025, every trim level of the Versa now comes with the Nissan Maintenance Care Program, which gives you up to 3 prepaid oil changes for 2 years or 24,000 miles, whichever comes first, which is certainly nice, but it's not technically free because they have also increased the MSRP of the 2025 Versas by approximately $500 to $600 depending on the trim level that you go with. And we do have the official pricing here, and we have 3 different trim levels. We have the Versa S, the SV in the middle, and the SR at the top. And if you go with the base model S, you still have the ability of getting the 5-speed manual transmission. That's going to start at $17,190, but make sure to add $1,140 to the MSRP prices that you see here as your destination charge. But regardless, even with the subtle price hike, this is easily one of the cheapest vehicles on sale today, because I believe the Mitsubishi Mirage is no more for 2025. The Versa is a legitimate automobile. It drives decent, it's got good dynamics, and surprisingly spacious despite its size. And that's why I'm so high on this vehicle, because it does so many things right. And like with most Nissans, it does come with a lot of great safety tech features as standard, like the automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection. You have lane departure warning, rear automatic braking, and high beam assist. However, if you want things like blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert, you do have to step up in trim level or get an additional package. Anyway, you do get a 7-inch infotainment screen as standard, but if you go with the top of the line SR, you will get an 8-inch infotainment screen, and you have available Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. We still have here the 1.6 liter 4-cylinder engine with 122 horsepower, and again, only the base S model is available with the 5-speed manual. Otherwise, you get the Xtronic CVT transmission, which is also fine because Nissan CVT is genuinely some of the best performing CVTs out there. It mimics an automatic really well, and it's surprisingly smooth. And with that CVT, you're going to be getting 32 in the city and 40 mpg out on the highway. That's nearly hybrid levels of fuel economy that you get with this vehicle. Something to keep in mind, however, if you go with that base model S, you are going to get these steel wheels, so not everyone is going to like that. But regardless, it seems like over the years, people have gotten really privileged and they want a lot out of their basic economy transportation. Everyone keeps crying about how expensive everything has gotten, but they don't realize that the expensive vehicles, they are and always have been a privilege to own. Expensive cars don't need to be cheap, because cheap cars, they still exist for the purpose of serving you and your family as, once again, basic transportation to get you from point A to point B. No, this stuff doesn't look nice, it's not the most refined, but to keep crying about how prices keep going up is utter nonsense, because this stuff has always been around. People just act like it doesn't exist. A freaking 1995 Corolla started at $12,498 for a base model. A mid-level 1995 Corolla was $14,768, and the top of the line LE 1995 Corolla was $16,848. A base model Versa is superior to all 3 trim levels of that 1995 Corolla. A new Versa is going to be more powerful, more fuel efficient, and safer than a 1995 Corolla, while offering more features as well. So yes, we do have products like this which are literally beating inflation, and it's new, there's no rust on it, it comes with full factory warranty. There's nothing to cry about. But it seems like everybody wants a Bugatti for $3. Nah, player, that's not happening. That never happened yesterday, and it certainly doesn't happen today. But actually, no exaggeration, you can get close to a Bugatti today a lot easier than you could in the past. There's a ton of EV vehicles that you can lease for literally a couple $100 a month, and they can spank most supercars. Nowadays, if you are really savvy and you do your research and you know how to negotiate or use a car broker, you can get some incredible deals on economy cars, high-end vehicles, etc. And on this channel, I have always shared with you resources and tips to get phenomenal deals on many different automobiles. But again, people act like I'm speaking in Cantonese over here. For whatever reason, people just love to revel in the misery and the doom and the gloom, and they're not really interested in solutions. They just enjoy the complaining. Regardless, people are just out here showing their true colors. I will continue to share with my audience ways on how they can save money with these new vehicles, because I would much rather rock this Versa than some clapped out, busted, used vehicle. Because here's my problem with a lot of used cars. It's literally like rolling the dice. You can get lucky, and many people have, of course. People love buying used cars. But used vehicles will one day rot out or cause you issues, and that will eventually need to be replaced as well. And with a lot of used vehicles, people like to hide things. They like to manipulate Carfaxes or any previous issues that the vehicle has had, and then you get into it and it's going to have these random vibrations and stutters that nobody is going to know how to replicate and nobody's going to know how to fix, and that just really irritates me. That's why I either lease and dump new vehicles, or I would simply rather just rock a new Versa like this, get it as a base model, run it into the ground, and if you want to keep it longer, pay up and extend the warranty, because it's a Japanese car. A warranty isn't going to cost that much for this basic economy vehicle, or just chance it and keep rocking it without a warranty. That's totally possible because you didn't pay much for this stuff to begin with. Now, regarding negotiating on one of these Versas, well, there's not much meat on the bone. If you go to a website like JD Power, it will show you the invoice price of many vehicles. And on a 2024 base model S manual Versa, the invoice price is $16,260. The MSRP is $16,680 without destination, but that's okay. But as you can see, there's only like $420 between sticker and invoice. So yeah, when some of these dealerships say that they're not making any money with the sale of a new car, they're not exaggerating. Because if that dealership gave you just $500 off the MSRP, they're taking a loss. Actually, they just lost money selling you this vehicle. Now, yes, they do charge things like a dealer fee, etc., but that's not really profit if you think about it. They have like a whole 50,000, 100,000 square foot building that they have to run with employees in it, and that's all that dealer fee is covering, is keeping the lights on for the building itself. That's not even profit. I don't know, maybe these large corporations, they have some other means of just printing money out of thin air. I'm not sure. I've never worked at a dealership, but regardless though, for you and me, JD Power, we can see the invoice price. And looking on Car Gurus, doing a nationwide search in September of 2024, there's about 6,500 of these Versas for sale across the country, and about 120 of them are the manual cars. Even with the manuals, I would be cautious. Just double check the pictures, because some dealerships, they like to advertise an automatic car as a manual. And I have one final resource that I want to share with you, and that's going to be Auto Companion. He is one of the largest car brokers in the United States, and if you don't know what a car broker is, they essentially partner with a large amount of dealerships to offer you heavily discounted new vehicles, and they charge you a broker fee, and they present to you already negotiated new cars, which saves you time and headache, as well as all of the dealership charades and the manipulation tactics. You don't have to go through any of that. You just pay a broker like this their fee. You give them a rough idea of what trim level and vehicle and color that you want, again, if it's a brand that they carry. And you can either pick up the vehicle at their destination, which Auto Companion is located in Washington, D.C., but you can also have the vehicle shipped nationwide, which is what I've done. I've had 2 vehicles shipped with Auto Companion, never had an issue. But once again, shipping is something you have to pay extra for. But even regardless of the broker fee and the shipping, depending on the vehicle, you could still be saving a substantial amount of money. So it's worth knowing about these car brokers. And I mentioned Auto Companion because Nissan is a brand of vehicle that he carries. He obviously doesn't carry every brand, but he does carry many, and Nissan is one of them. And he doesn't advertise any Versa deals, and that makes sense because, as we just saw on the JD Power website, there's only like $400 between MSRP and invoice, so there's not much to discount. But on a 2024 Nissan Sentra, he is offering 10% off the MSRP. On the Nissan Altima, he is offering 14% off MSRP. So really, it might be better just to get a base Sentra at 10% off MSRP than going with a base or a mid-level Versa. Really, I'm interested in the Versa for that 5-speed manual. Obviously, there's not many of those in the country, and you can't really even negotiate much on these vehicles either. So with the Versa paying sticker and getting that manual, that's really all that makes sense, because a $22,730 base model Sentra with 10% off MSRP, you're getting that for about $20,457. And also in the description box, I'm going to have a free leasing calculator provided to you by Auto Companion. This is a powerful tool because it shows you the interest rate of a lease, the residual values, and the incentives that you can get in your local zip code. Now, obviously, I don't recommend leasing these economy cars. The lease deals aren't that great. You should just do like the lowest interest or the lowest month finance and just get this thing paid off as quickly as possible and own it until the wheels fall off. That's what you should do with these economy vehicles. But regardless, you should use this calculator to see the incentives, because incentives will stack on top of the dealer discounts. Because if you qualify for military or Nissan loyalty, you can get an additional $500 in incentives from the manufacturer, and that's going to stack on top of Auto Companion's dealer discount. So this is a great research and negotiation tool. Now, if you are going to use this to negotiate on your own, don't tell a dealership where you got your numbers from. Just be ambiguous about it and just tell them that you got it from an online calculator. So yeah, a Sentra is nice with these discounts, but keep in mind that's through Auto Companion, and you are going to have to pay him that broker fee. And if you're not local to DC, you're going to have this vehicle shipped as well. So your discount won't be quite as substantial, especially if you are shipping the car, but it's still good to know what's possible. And if you do want to work with Auto Companion, I do have an affiliate link down in the description box. If you fill that out, Auto Companion will know that you came from my channel, and he will take some money off of his broker fee. So that is fantastic, because he doesn't just represent Nissan, because he also has other brands like Hyundai, Mazda, Chevy, Subaru, Toyota, Volkswagen, CDJR, and luxury brands like BMW, Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, Volvo, etc. So Auto Companion has definitely been a blessing to a lot of people interested in the luxury cars. Substantial discounts there. Obviously, it's a luxury car. It's still going to be expensive, but I'm just saying, it's way better than playing the dealer games at the local dealerships. But regardless, I just wanted to share all of this information with you.